Hey everybody, I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. Today I am coming to you with a begonia plant. And I'm excited because I've never done this before. I'm going to give it a shot and go through and see if we can get leaf cuttings to root from this begonia. Now, begonias are very beautiful plants. They are not hardy here in Tennessee, so typically you have to bring them indoors in the wintertime if you want to keep them over the winter. The other thing you can do is take some cuttings toward the end of the year and then end up with small plants that you can bring indoors. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do right now, is to get a bunch of little small plants so that next spring I can put them outside. Now, I am not at my house today with this. This is actually my mother-in-law's begonia. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to transport some of these leaves home by just using a very damp, actually just lightly damp paper towel to keep some humidity in a little Ziploc bag. So you take one of these bags, you just put your leaf cuttings, wrap them on top of the paper towel, put them inside the bag, and then you can transport it. You can't do that for very long. You also want to make sure that you don't have them in direct sunlight because it will heat it up like a greenhouse would. But if you are needing to go somewhere like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour away, and you've got a cutting you want to transport, but you need to treat it and stuff when you get home, this would be a great way to do it. I've done this many times with lots of different cuttings. So these are the begonia leaves right there. You can also take stem cuttings of them and get them to root, but you can actually get quite a few more if you're doing it through the leaves, or so I've heard. So let's go on and take some cuttings of this. So I'm going to look for some decent leaves. I'm probably going to pull from the bottom of the plant just so I don't alter the look of her plant here. So I'm going to take this one here, and I'll come over here and grab this one there. And I want to get about 3. I think that will give me some good odds. Let's try this one right there. All right, so there's 3 cuttings. You can't really tell that I've done much with the plant at all. Just 3 little leaves. And here are the leaves themselves. There's the front of the leaf, and this is what the back of the leaf looks like. The back of the leaf is kind of hairy. It's got these little pieces right here. And I bet the reason why it roots so well from leaves is because it has this veining. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to take a knife, and I'm not going to do this here before I bring it home, but we're going to crisscross a little bit of a pattern across here, and we're going to try to trigger rooting to happen where these veins are on the back of the leaf. And see, that's same right there, some really deep veins going through. So we should have some good material here for cuttings. We'll go on and we'll go ahead and pack these up, and we'll get ready to finish the process in another location. Okay, you can see I've gotten these back into my garage area. I'm on top of the heat mats up here. Not a great thing to do when you've got a sharp knife, so I'm going to actually do that on top of this little plastic container. But basically, I'm going to just make some crosses across here and see what happens. I've never done this before, but I'm just going to try not to get, well, I kind of went all the way through the leaf on that one. I don't think I want to do that again, so I'm going to try to go a little lighter on that. I do have a pretty sharp knife here with it, so I'm just going to give it a few creases. All right, and so it's going to be a little like that. I don't know if that's going to work or not. We'll see. Probably a better way to do that. I'll learn as I go here. But right here, I'm going to do the same thing. You can see there's a little damage on this particular leaf just caused by insects or something. But I'm just going to kind of make some cuts, and we'll see what happens. There's that, and then here's kind of a better leaf, probably the best of the 3 that I picked. And once I've done that, I'm going to put a little dusting of rooting hormone on it just to see what happens, see if that helps. Okay, so there's my 3 leaves. I'm going to go get some rooting hormone, and I'm going to sprinkle it onto the back side of each of those. Okay, since my towel's still a little wet, I'm going to push these into it just to get a little more moisture onto the leaves before I put rooting hormone on it. And I'm going to go just sprinkle a little bit on the back of each one. Just like that. And that's just your basic rooting hormone that you'd get at pretty much any kind of a box store, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you want to go. I keep it in a little jar separate, so if I ever have any diseases that happen, I haven't contaminated the whole main container if I'm dipping my cuttings into it. So, and next I'm going to take this container, which is full of peat, and I'm going to gently set each one of them into here. This is just big enough for each of these, like that. I'm going to moisten this a little bit with some water, and then it's time to wait. But I'm going to pressure these in, try to make sure that the leaves all have really good contact so that they can absorb any kind of water and moisture that they need. Get a closer look for you. So basically that's what we've got. So as you can see, these are a takeout container that's made. It just has a plastic lid that's clear. I'm going to keep these under these heat or the lights here on my trays in the garage, and we'll just see what happens. These should start to root. Hopefully we'll get several new begonia plants starting to root from here, and then we can clip them up a little bit more to separate them and see what kind of rooting we get. So the next part of this video will hopefully be when we've got some roots starting to form on the bottom of the leaves. Okay guys, it's time for the next part of this video. When I last did these were on July 18th. It's now September 1st on these begonia leaf cuttings. So let's open this up and take a look and see what kind of results we have. All right, so here we go. As you can see, they don't look wonderful as far as the leaf, but they're still alive and going. And let's check them out individually and see what we've got. Right here on this cutting, we definitely have rooting right there at the base. Right here where the stem made contact, you can see the roots forming and coming out here. So those did okay on that. Now what about the underside of the leaves? Let me turn this around a little better. And I'm not seeing any real rooting happening on the underside of the leaves like it's supposed to. So one part I'm successful in that I got it to root, but the other part I was hoping for these leaves to actually root more, which they're supposed to be able to. So in this case, on that particular leaf, that didn't work out. Let's check this other one, see what kind of results we have. All right, again, it rooted there at the base where the leaf would have been attached to the original plant, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't really see any roots happening yet, so I'll put that back down. That's 2 out of the 3 leaves did not root as much as I was hoping for, but the third one did root again from the base at the begonia plant right here. You can see roots coming off the side and over there and over on the side. And I'm doubting that this one did either. Yeah, it doesn't really look like we got a whole lot of rooting. But I did get 3 leaves rooted from the original plant, but not quite as successfully as I was hoping to do. I was really hoping I'd get 2 or 3 from each leaf and have about 6 to 8 cuttings all together that I could plant. But what I'll do next is I will try this again after these have grown. And what's going to happen, I'll pot these up, and I'm going to have to keep them indoors because they are not hardy here in our area. And I'll bring them in for the winter, and then we'll put them back out next year, and then we'll give it another shot, maybe with some other leaves. I have a suspicion that I didn't pin these down well enough for them to actually root on the leaf areas. You can see how they kind of float up a little bit. And if I pin them down a little bit better, or maybe put some pebbles or something on top to keep a little bit of contact on it, like some pea gravel or something like that on the leaves where they can still get light, but it kind of has a point of contact that it makes with the soil. But somewhat of a success, not a complete success. But you know what? That's 3 free plants from 3 leaves I borrowed from my in-laws' begonia plant, which is pretty cool to have extra plants. But if you like this video and you want to see more about rooting plants, propagating plants, and things like that, please hit the like button. Really appreciate you guys doing that. And don't forget to subscribe for more from Growing the Home Garden down the road. And hope you are having a wonderful day. We'll catch up with you later.